Morning, guys. John here, Mr. Forex Fire. So this morning, it's Monday, the 7th of March. It's around about 7:30. So starting this a little bit earlier than I normally do today, simply because I've got to pop off to the hospital this morning for around about 9 o'clock. So I'm going to see if I can get in a bit earlier based upon the currency strength stuff. Okay, so if you just bear with me for one moment. Just share the screen. And here we are. So at the moment, again, just if you're watching this for the first time, don't worry. There is another video in the series that I'm doing with this, and it will be inside where the announcements are. I normally put daily videos in there. So at the moment, just ignore these bits, these ADX things at the moment, just something I'm testing with something else at the moment. From there, we've got the currency strength on here, and it is squashed on mine. When you put it on yours, there is some videos in the ADR training in the Discord that Andy has put together for us. It was Andy that brought this to us, which is fantastic. And we base everything on the currency strength. However, if I just go to the Discord, here's the Discord here, and here's the currency strength chat area. We can see already Andy's already been catching some pips from through the night. And the preference on how these work are obviously to the left is the stronger pairs, to the right, excuse me, or the weaker. And it looks like he's been buying the NZD, obviously. Goes without saying, strong, we can see here. And when the orange ones are on there, I do believe those are the selling ones. Let's just take a look. Just go back to it. So yeah, so this is what it'll look like when you have it on your screen. Okay, let's go back. I can make out what this is and I can understand what it is. Okay, so I'm not too worried on that. So the JPY is relatively weak at the moment. So I might put a few JPY pairs on. There's nothing green on the top to see anything's mega strong at the moment. They're just telling me the JPY is weak at the moment. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to pause the video and grab myself a cup of tea. And then I'll be back on here to see if there's any movement on these as such. And I'll also be consulting what's in here as well, which will help us along the way. Okay, so I'll pause the video and then we'll be looking to set up one or two of these maybe just before 8 o'clock this morning. What we generally do as well is we take snapshots of this every 15 minutes and we analyze what's moved and what hasn't to be able to anticipate which are the movers, the shakers, and the ones that are just basically staying where they are. Okay, so I'll pause the video. We'll be back in a very short while. At the moment, we're now 7:45. It doesn't look as if we're going to be getting any sort of big strength or weaknesses this morning. This happens from time to time, to be fair. And we've just come off the back of the NFP week, which was on the Friday. Again, everybody likes to share what's going on within the strength and weaknesses. Last update Andy put in around about 7:25. We normally put them in every 15 minutes, 20 minutes or so. But for me, I know this looks bunched up, but it's, for me, usually I can tell what's weak and what's strong on there, to be fair. We've got no red and we've got no green, so they're the extremes, to be honest. Like I say, we've got extreme, and there's nothing showing, so it's all bunched up at the moment. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to pause the video and we'll just keep hopping on, okay? It just means I can keep the live session paused while I hop out to the hospital, and when I come back, I can pick it back up. I'm going to keep an eye on this until at least just after, I would say, just after 8 a.m. or around about, say 10 past 8, just so I can see if there's any strength or weakness comes in. If there is, I'll set the trade away. I'll show you what I do. If there's not, I'll hang it on until this afternoon. We're bound to have some at shorthand this afternoon, and then we'll be factoring in the trade management system, which is it's an exit manager, which is going to help us define areas of importance where we can have things of take profits, take partials, stop losses, and things like that. So I'll pause the video. I'll hop back on in a short while. We'll see if there's any movement on here. At the moment, it's all orange and yellow. We need to have some extremes like this on here. Okay, guys. So again, we'll be back in a short while, and we'll talk you through what we need to do once we get those extremes. Okay, guys. I'll see you in a bit. Hi guys, so let's have a quick look. We can see in the group at the moment, obviously Andy's been kind enough to put in the screenshots from his end, and we can see we're just bunching together. You know, there's no extreme of green, and there's extreme of red and yellow just starting to come in with a Swiss franc. From there's nothing that's going to sort of get me to go in on a trade at the moment, but we just anticipate and we wait for the moves, like what Andy has put on here. I just put on it staying bunched at the moment, but it's a good thing, because when we do get an extremity of a move, it's easy to understand and see what has the momentum, rather than it just being a small pullback, you know. And in an extreme, you're looking at something that's above 7 for like a push on possibly a strength buy, and the red is normally around about a 1.3 or a 2, I do believe, where we'll be looking where that currency is on a sell-off. With that in mind, Andy's caught some great pips last night, or through the night, when the market's opened 232 straight away. He's always crushing it. It's fantastic. He brought this to the group here. But at the moment, obviously, we've still got the things bunched together there. From my aspect, I've got the Swiss franc on at the moment and the card, simply because they are the two on either side of the scale, and I'm factoring in something else, which is on the ADX. And so I'm sort of looking at stuff where I think price could head to, which is further up on the upside. I'm not going to enter in anything, because there's nothing, as I see it, showing its hand properly. It's all about being patient, marking your charts, putting your POIs in, and looking for the points of interest. On this sort of stuff here, the dotted lines, the green and the yellow, those are the currency pairs that are in play with this. Okay, so the wider they go apart, the more the movement is on. And then the blue line on here on the ADX stuff is when it goes above this pink line and there's a push up, then I'm looking for a trend continuation. And you can see here on the top, or I should say on here, okay, from here go down, we had a cross of the currency. Okay, there was a cross of the currency and the blue, so there would have been a buy there. And again, we don't do anything on its way back down. I only wait for the push out of below this area. Okay, so I'll just show you in another area. Let's take a look. We can see here, okay, yes, it was in the party a little bit late. You could have came in at around about here, because the blue crossed as well, and there was a mega push on there, and it's come all the way. However, once the blue starts to come back in, sort of thing, and the currencies are crossing over like this, I tend to get out on things. Just something I've been testing as well. It's always good to have little extra things in your arsenal of weaponry when you're trading, to be fair. But going on the card Swiss franc, I've marked a couple of POIs out for me based upon what I'm doing on here, what I'm looking at in here as well. It's not to say it's going to go to there, but while you're marking things up and trading, it's good to do these sort of things so you can sort of see what you're anticipating has been the right move. Let's just take a look. We see the Swiss franc is now in the red. So the card's still on the other side, the Richter scale. We might get a push now on a buy, bringing this up to this area. Again, I'd be waiting for maybe a blue line to cross through here. And then again, the card, which is the yellow on this one, we'll just mark that off. I'll just tell them that I'm at work. And then we get the push up from the blue, which is going to tell us there's a trend indication. The yellow, which will obviously be the card. The green should stay below, simply because that would be the selling pair, the weaker pair sort of thing. And we get a break from these trends coming down as well. So if you just bear with me, I will be back with you in a second. Just going on to another thing as well, the GBP odd. Okay, the odd's getting pretty strongish. GBP's now come to the bottom, but it's not red. But look, this is another sort of confluence that I look onto. You can see here we've had the cross on the pink here, and also the cross of the blue. Just because that's moving up, it doesn't mean it's going to be in a buy-in. It just means it's going to be a trend move. Okay, so if we look directly up, okay, just to show you guys from that point there and that point there, you see there was consolidation. It was telling me there was going to be a move. We had a crossover, and we've sank from this area, pretty spot on, and it's went a good 515 pips. The GBP sank from that crossover point. Fantastic that. Again, GBP is weak, but the thing is, there's been a massive sell-off already. Is it in a consolidation for them to go further? It's pretty wide between the two currency pairs on the DIs. We'll see what happens. Again, I've got to pop out in a minute, hospital, so I'm not going to get into anything straight away. I'm possibly going to wait until this afternoon for the New York session to see if we've got any red and greens up on the extremes on here. But again, based upon what I do on this here as well, there's the ADX and the crossovers that you can see from there. We've had the cross here, and the blues had a cross. There's a wide point between the currencies. That's telling us there's going to be a trend once it crosses this area of this 25, and it was a massive sell-off. Could have been a good move to catch, to be fair, and that only happened from, let's have a look, just after midnight or so. Yeah, just after midnight. There must have been some hellish move on the Australian dollar, getting stronger, which is why there's been a sell-off on the GBP pair on it. Okay, we can see the GBP there at the moment is red. Let's go back onto it. No one's put any sort of updates on here, but I can see it's red. Cards still staying up there on the top, which is what we have in the group. So it was card NZD odd. The NZD and the odd have sort of switched places. The Swiss franc is sort of pushed a little bit, and the GBP is sort of came down. The GBP, we were looking 3 pairs from the bottom. It was 4, 5. So you can see here, it's progressively got weak on the GBP pair as we're coming into the 8 o'clock. So the GBP might be a good one to sell off at the moment, to be fair. Tell you what we'll do. We'll get in on a trade just so I can show you what we do. So I'm going to put on here a 0.225, okay? So let's just have a look. I need the proper GBP pair. GBP odd. Where are we at? GBP odd. Right click, put my fire template on, and go for a sell. Now, what I generally do, I'll put in the sell, then I'll put in my pips. I'm willing for, let's see, a 40 pip stop loss, maximize out, and we'll get scrolled in. The TP, I'll generally put like 100 pips or so. On this occasion, I'm going to put 150 pips. Okay. It's not going to go there. Like I said, there's only so much on an average daily range they'll go. But what we use is an exit manager. So on here, what we generally do is I've got a set file, which will give me the parameters I want to put. So the pips to break even, I'm going to set it at 15 pips. And then I'm going to put, in fact, today I'm going to try 20, okay? So I'm going to try 20 pips to break even. I'm going to put it at 3 pips above the stop. Okay, so when we hit the 20 pips, it's going to move the SL to just above break even by 3 pips. Take profit level at 10 pips. The lots to close, because we've got a 0.25. I want to close out a 0.10 once we get to 10 pips, okay? Trail and stop, I'm just going to leave it as 0 today. The trail and stop I had on last week. So we're going to be moving forward and trying to test without the trail and stop. So the only way the SL will move is once we hit the 20 pips, okay? So from there, let's go to common, make sure I've got the allow the DLL. I'm going to click OK. And we've got the smiley face on there. From there, you can also put your indicators, which is your pip count, okay, the pip counter. Get rid of that. We want the pip counter. And that's telling me, obviously, I'm in around about seven pips of drawdown at the moment. Again, not worried. We've got the parameters set. I've got it at a 40 pip breathable gap. We'll just allow the trade to do what it needs to do. Again, might be risky doing this because it's not an extreme at the moment. It's just hovering in between the two. What I might do as well, we'll look for a GBP card. Let's take a look. GBP card. Let's see if I can find you. Is this the correct one? No, it's not that one. I've got to look with a .r file. GBP card. Must be underneath this. Swiss franc. There's the odd. Oh, where's the card? There we are. So once again, right click. We're going to put the fire template. I'm going to put a sell. This might be good because we can see the ADX. It's crossing over now. It's crossing through the pink. So this might be a good option to have on this one, to be fair. Again, big that. Bring us in. Just bring around about 40 pips of SL. We'll have this down here. And then again, what I need to do is factor in what we do with the exit manager. And again, allow the DLL inputs. We're going to do, again, 20 pips. I did 15 the other day, but we're going to do 20 this time around. Have run about 3 pips to above break even. We want lots to close, 0.10 at the profit level of 10 pips, okay? Click OK, and then that's at one set. Click OK again. So now I've got 2 trades going. I'm only going to have the 2 going simply because we haven't got any extremes, okay? We can see we're starting to get the push out on the GBP card. Just see if I can get this a little bit. See, we've already had the push out on this, so we might have missed the order one. But I'll pause the video. I'll see what happens when I come back. It's running it itself. We'll see if we can catch some pips with this, and the trades will automate themselves. from there. There's been nothing else put in the group just yet, so obviously there's nothing moving, shaking, and whatever else have you. So I'll pause the video and we'll be back once I come back from the hospital, guys. Okay, I'll see you in a bit. Right, so before I head off out, just thought I'd come and check the screen. You can see on the bottom, out of breath now. Getting stuff ready, out of breath. Right, so you can see we've had a close of a partial. Okay, and we're coming down. We're in profit on both ends, 8 pips of profit altogether. This is working pretty well with what we were looking at. I think what I want to do, in fact, I'll leave it how it is. Okay, I'll leave it how it is. Simply because I've set the parameters. The only thing I was worried about is because I didn't have that trail and stop. It just means, in fact, no, I will. The reason why I'm doing this on the trail and stop is simply because if I don't have the trail and stop, if we go to take the 20 pips of take profit, okay, and we move the SL to 3 pips of stop loss, then it won't trail the profits as it moves, if that makes sense. So as that profit's getting bigger, I need the SL to trail. So we had it on, let's have a look. We had it on 20. We had this on 3. We had the take profit level on 10 pips. The lots to close was a 0.10. Trail and stop, I want on around about 15 pips to trail that. So what I'll do is, if I'm common, put that on DLL, go back to inputs. I'm going to save. I'm going to put that as my challenge set for today. Replace it, click OK. So that means when I go to this exit manager on this side, click yes. If I go to load the challenge set, I've now got it set to 20 pips break even, 3 pips above break even on the SL. When we get to 10 pips, it is automatically going to take around about half of the profit because we are on a 0.25. So I've got a 0.10 to take, and I want a trail and stop to follow the profit level below 15. Obviously, the SL to be below 15 pips once we're in the profit area. And the reason we do that is because as it gradually gets more profit, the SL's follow it. So when we get a pullback, eventually it's going to come back and hit us out of the profit area. And you can see from here, we are already trailing that stop there. This is the only downfall with this, okay? So now this gets a pullback. It's going to knock us out, okay, at £3.38. So do I risk it or do I go back to the regular? Let's have a look. I think I'll risk it. I'll risk that simply because if it's already went to 10 pips of profit, okay, and it's closed out a certain amount of profit on there, we can see we banked just over a £5 of profit this morning already. So I think I'm going to keep it like that for now for the test of this week. I'm just going to increase the level of a profit area before the SLs move to the break even. But as that profit is coming anywhere, the currency is moving the way we want it to, the trail and stop will follow that along the way as well. Okay. At the moment, the GBP card, which is on this opposite side, it's in a little bit of profit. It's around about 8 pips of profit. We're waiting for that to push to 10. If that pushes to, no, it's 4 pips, sorry, underneath here. If that pushes to 10, this will go down to a size of 0.15. It'll bank some of the pips, which is what we wanted to do. The GBP is pretty weak at the moment. USD, let's have a look. USD's got pretty strong. It's moved up a couple of places. So we may possibly, let's see if I can get this in before I have to head out. GBP, USD. I need it with the R. Let's have a look. So get this on here, right click, template, fire. Let's have a look. We can see, yeah, we can see the sell-off, how we've got the ADX and the currency strengthens apart. We've got here, there's a move up, there's going to be a continuation in trend. So let's have a sell-off of this as well. Make this a little bit bigger. We're going to have, again, on about 40 pip. Put this at just over 100 pips. We'll bring in the exit manager. And what we'll do again, inputs, or we'll put the the allowed DLL imports. Go to inputs, go to load, go to the challenge set file. We've already got it set. Click OK. Maximize that. Okay, so now we've got a few pairs with 30 pips up in profit. We're using obviously the currency strength with the exit manager, but I'm also factoring in the ADX sort of indicator where we're looking for a push out of the 25, widen of the gaps of the two currencies, but the blue line pushing out of the 25 is also going to indicate us a strength and a trend starting to of a continuation. Okay, so there's a good 30-40 pips. We can now see the GBP CAD and the GBP ORD has banked some pips. We've took our profit from £50 this morning. It's now just over a tenner of profit at the minute. Okay, and again, some of these will go into risk free as the take profits widen. It just means it's going to be falling up with a trailing stop. Going to leave that where it is. I'm going to pause the video. I'll be back and see where we are. At the time we were at £50 profit this morning, £50,050. We are now floating profit wise over £100 profit, but we banked £10 of profit today. So I'll be back after I've just been to the hospital, guys. I'll see you all shortly. Hey guys, so I'm back. Had the bloods taken. I'm basically, it's a 10-15 minute drive to the hospital, if that, because pre-COVID and everything, and being on medication that messes with my immune system. The hospital still have in place what they call a pre-COVID appointment scheme, so I'm able to get straight in and straight out, where I think it's between 9 and 10 to have limited spaces. So every 2 weeks I get a spot where I'm not interacting with too many people, because I've had the COVID once before, where when I've been with my immune system being whacked out, and believe me, I don't want it again. I was in a real bad way, but that's another story. Anyway, back to where we are at hand. So we started this morning, okay, with looking at the currency strength. The currency strength, the Swiss franc is heavily still down there, so is the GBP, and the CAD's still up there as well. Didn't want to get too heavily involved with it, but the results so far this morning, we entered a trade. Okay, we entered a couple of trades. I think it was 3 trades to be fair. We started with the profit from the other day on testing this, and we were about £50 in profit. So 50,000 and then just over £50. I've came back, and the exit manager has, or the trade management system has done fantastic. Okay, we've made 30 odd pound, around about £35 or just under, while I've been out. So again, looking at the parameters on what we're doing, looking at the weakness and the strength on the currency strength stuff, okay, and put that into play with a trade management system. But I'm also using this ADX to confirm the trend. Okay, again, while I've been out, let's just take a look, see what we see. Let's have a look here. So the history is at the journal. So the GBP ORD, that was this one here. Okay, you can see here we've come past the pink line. The 2 dotted lines are the currencies. Okay, the shift apart, there's going to be a movement in price. The blue line is the ADX sort of range. So when this pushes past the 25 and we've got a widening of the 2 areas, we're going to expect a downturn, if that makes sense. So again, it happened from this point here. there was a little bit of consolidation area up on the top here, but we got the point in the movement and the expectation of a movement from here. Again, it started from late last night. I do believe I got in a little bit late on this. This overall, it shifted nearly 600 pips on that preference. And both currency and the blue line are above the 25. So this may be shifting a little bit further down. Once the two currencies come back and they kiss each other and they touch each other, I would sort of stop and get out. You can get out a little bit earlier once it's peaked and it's coming down. And what happens is what you've got here. Let's have a look. If you get the rear, it's once it sort of breaks its structure of that and it's coming down, that's going to tell you it's more or less on its way out. Okay. With that being said, we're going to have a look at the Discord, see what the guy's been doing in a while. I've been at the hospital again, and he's been kind enough to throw in what's been happening. He's been in on the Swiss franc. I don't think I was on the GBP. I do believe I got in on the GBP, and he's doing well. He's got some pips caught with that. He hasn't got the overall just yet though. So Andy's caught already 232 pips going from the odd movement, the NZD, sorry, which was the early hours of the morning. Okay, the odd NZD were pretty strong. There was a big push on those. And then from there, he's had a look at what he does, and he's went with a Swiss franc. He's just basically went with a Swiss franc, cross pairs, and he's either bought or sold, depending which side of the fence they're on, and he's doing well with that. It is now, what time is it now? It's 10:15. The last screenshot he's put in here for us is this one here. So we just have a look. The USD's gathered a bit of strength. The CAD's got a little bit weaker. So there's not really much movement, in fairness, as we edge in towards mid-morning time. Apart from the Swiss franc, has gathered a bit more momentum. But yeah, we're doing really well. Again, trades for today, we're in profit, 30-odd pound profit. I'm happy with that. I can now close everything down at the moment. I'll keep the video paused. I'll jump back on in a short while once we head towards New York, see if we can see anything else, and then we'll take a couple of more trades based on there. So far, so good today. In, out, analyzed, and never really opened a chart and sort of delved really right into it with regards to higher time frames, lower time frames, and things like that. I've just basically went on the currency strength, what it's telling me for that given time. Looked at the last 15 minutes previous to it and before that, and then also factored in this little bit more that I do with an ADX sort of stuff. This stuff is new that I'm putting with it, but I'm just seeing how it reacts with that. Okay. So again, guys, I'll be back in a moment. I'm just going to pause the video. I'm going to go and have a mid-morning snack and a cup of tea. Okay. I hope you're enjoying the content. Hi guys, just going to put my amazing Geordie face in that bottom corner. Right, so a few things we're looking at the moment. It's just after 12 o'clock. I've had a little bit of walk around the park and refreshed myself, bite to eat. So before the New York session comes in, I'm sort of, like I say, edging me bets, and I'm sort of testing things. And this is all about me doing the test. Okay, so if we fail forward. It's a process of elimination. We just take away the things that hasn't worked. Okay, and I've never really been heavily involved with the currency strength up until just the other week when I've been incorporating the trade manager and things like that with the exit manager. So I've been using something else called the ADX. Okay, a couple of things with this. We've got the currencies. Okay, when they move apart, there's going to be a movement in price, but more importantly, when it comes back from underneath this 25, there's going to be a trend. Okay, or that's at least what it works out to be. Now, the CAD Swiss franc has been pretty far apart from each other. However, we've got the ADR on here, as I've got here. We've got the ADR high, the ADR low. I've got those on there. So possibly expecting, let's have a look. Possibly expecting this to come back down. I don't want to draw. In fact, this here, the rear, out of it. Expect this to come down, okay? Based upon, let's get rid of that. Based upon the fact that we've got the CAD strong, the Swiss franc is it's been pretty low all day, to be fair. Going on what we've got in the group, again, fantastic group. Andy's been busy as ever, beavering away, putting all the screenshots in for us. And he's been sort of dabbling in with it a lot more than what I have. I only picked 3 pairs today, and he's hitting 400 pips at the moment. Again, I've jumped on it this morning, picked the 3 pairs, headed out to hospital, using the exit manager to do the trade management for me. And I've had some profits, as you've seen in the video on this so far. However, what's getting my attention at the moment, it's this, that the Swiss franc has been pretty low all day, to be fair. Now, you can get in on these based upon, obviously, the strength, and we do urge everybody to just press the buttons to see how it works for you. However, I'm trying to bring in an element of the trade management side of things, so it's not a case of I'm hitting the button and letting it run, because obviously we could end up in some form of drawdown. So we need to try and eliminate that, which is why I brought in the trade manager, the exit manager. I am thinking about possibly putting the CAD Swiss franc on at the moment, but it's reached its daily high. That's the only thing, so it's not as if it's going to pull back down. It could pull back down in towards the ADR area, but I was going to go and put it in for a buy. See what's going on in the 4-hour. Let's make this bigger. So we can see we're sort of pushing down the ADR, however, the movement on the ADR, it's made a 73 pip movement already, So based on the 4-hour, you can see here, see this crisscross, it's touched in, okay? So again, when I speak about obviously these things moving out, you can see here, the green, it's very far apart, and the blues come out. It's from around about there. It's had the push, so it's had the trend. So it's done it from about here, and then it's went all the way at the top, around 121 pips. Fantastic, to be fair. This is just something I'm messing around with at the moment. Let's see where we are. So obviously that's the ADR range, the low to the high. It is pushing up higher. Go back down to 1 hour. Bring all the chips in. Let's have a look. So the euro odd at the moment, see this massive spike here. Look at this. Watch. Get this auto scroll out properly. Take off the auto scroll. Right. So just want to show you this. So again, we look at just a few things that I'm factoring in, okay? We look at that area there, okay? This is where we had a big gap between the currencies, okay? The big gap, but then the blue started coming out. Now, the blue, when it comes above that, it indicates there's going to be, like I see, a push, a trend, okay? When it's going up, it just means it's a strong push, okay? And when you look at this, I mean, this was from just the other day. I went from this morning. There's nearly 900 pips there, that's from the 28th of February. So that's just over the last few days, the euro odd. Look at the push down on that. Massive push down. And that's obviously due to a few things with regards to what's going on in Ukraine and things like that as well. The euro, it's just tanking all over the place, to be fair. The GBP odd, let's have a look at GBP. We've got greens, the odd, which tells us to wait for a better setup. The GBP, the odd strong. So we may find on this one, we're going to start getting a push up. Okay. Again, there are parts, but what I would need to see is the crisscross of the green and like the orange yellow color. The green needs to sort of push out from here. The ATR, it's showing a push on the ATR as well, but the average daily range, it's coming down to the low, and it's hovering around that low, you know. So if we do get a reversal, I would edge my bets towards, oh, excuse me. I would edge my bets to price coming up into this sort of zone here, pushing up from here. So again, do this. The odds starting to get stronger. Okay. Come out, you can see here, you can see the odd. This would represent the odd, it's pushing. It's on the ADR low at the moment. It's got a higher time frame, 4 hour. Look at that, all the momentum coming down over the 4 hours daily, and a massive crash down. You know, it's coming down to test into a consolidated area, testing the order block down here. Go back on the 1 hour. Starting to get a massive push up on this. Very tempted to go in on that the GBP odd. We'll bring back the windows. The odd starting to get its strength. Tell you what, let's test it. Let's risk it for a biscuit. Let's risk it for a biscuit. So we're going to go for a buy. We're going to bring the stop loss to around about 40 pips, and I am risking this. I'm going off course on what I'm using with the currency strength altogether probably, and I want to try and go to the ADR high, okay, which I don't think it's going to move completely to. Just go to the lower side of that, okay. And what we'll do is let's throw in the trade manager side of things. Make sure we've got the DLL import. Let's have a look at loading the challenge up, which is I've based this today upon 20 pips to break even with the 3 pips. Okay, 15 pips trail and stop loss. As soon as we get to 10 pips, I want to take out 0.10 lot size of the 0.25. So then it becomes risk. Well, not so much risk free because we needed to get to 20 pips as well. The reason why I've got to take partials at 10 pips is because if it does come back on itself and we've got a 15 pip trail and stop loss, okay, by the time it gets to the 10, maybe 12 pips, the stop loss is going to be more or less break even anyway. And we've already taken half of the initial trade off on the partial, okay? So we're just going to put that in. We can see we're 3-4 pips in profit. And again, we're basing that upon the odd being on the bit of the stronger side. The ADR at the moment on here, it's come down to the low. So that's telling me on the ADR, it's down to lowest at the moment. Hopefully it's going to start making that pressure, the push further up. The ADX, however, we're going to start seeing an interlink crisscross on the ADX, and we're going to go above the 25, hopefully with a bit of luck. We want this to get to 10 pips, so then it banks at least half of that profit off. We'll see what happens with that. Everything else, GBPY, the GBP, more or less next week, it's halfway in the ADR, the Euro odd, the more or less next to each other. I just want to stay in this trade at the moment. I don't want to risk too much. Like I say, got off topic a bit with this one at the moment because I'm factoring in this side of things as well with it. So this is a test in itself. Again, we get 6 or 7 pips of profit. I might take it out, to be fair, because it's just a quick profit to add to what we've already got, to be honest. So I don't want to put too many things in together with it. We'll see what happens. I'm going to pause the video. We'll be back in a short while. I'm going to just leave that on there so we can see where we're at. We'll be back in a short while, guys. See where we head with this. Well, that didn't take long, guys. The 0.25 has gone down to a 0.15. It's banked so much of the pips. So we've gone from £80 of profit to around about 90. We'll see what happens with this now. See what we'll maybe let it run for a bit. The stop loss has come up, obviously, the trailing stop loss. You can see, because we've already banked so much pips, the stop loss is now come to around about, if it comes back down and knocks us out, it's going to take £3.3 off us. However, what did we take in profit? Is it going to show me? See if I can see this. History. It's going to, we've taken £5.84. So if it comes back and knocks us out on where the stop loss is at the moment, it just means we've made a couple of quid of profits. Okay, I'm happy with that. I'm happy with that. The overall profit to loss is it's in positive numbers of £90.45. Okay, again, 584. We go on here. It's a £3.04 loss. So, but you're looking at £2.80 of profit. However, the more that's on the top right, the more that moves on the top right, and the further it goes in pips, then the stop loss is going to move with it. I'm just trying to find that happy medium balance with regards to getting in, getting out, and also at the same time using in conjunction this here, which is the currency strength, but also trying to identify the stuff with the ADR, because we've got the ADR low and high movement, and then we've got the ADX as well. And I'm happy with it. I'm happy with it so far on the results it's given and shown. Let's just take a look. I'm just going to pause the video. We'll be back in a short while. Hi guys, so we're going to have a little look back at the charts just to show you what I do on a day-to-day basis. I'm continuously doing content for everybody, you know, which is what I'm doing here. I'm busy sorting some content out at the moment, but at the same time, I'm trading. And I was looking at a trade, the Great British Pound, excuse me, in the yard. Okay, it's come back and it's stopped us out. However, we are now 104 or just over £104 Great British Pound in profit. We started today at £50 of profit. We've doubled what we took from yesterday. Happy days. And we're not even in the New York session just yet. Okay. The reasons for taking that Great British Pound odd was a couple of things. Was there was a change on the ADX. We were starting to get momentum on the odd currency. Let's have a look. On the GBP, sorry, the GBP, that was it. We went in for a buy because the ADR was at its lowest. We're looking for it to head back up on here. Again, we got some quick profit on there. I'm going to be looking at the JPY starting to become weak now. Let's have a look at the currency strength chart. And he's just posted in there. The Swiss franc's been dead all day, to be fair. Andy's caught a nice 400 pips. For me personally, JPY. Is that JPY still weak? No, it's a Swiss franc. There's nothing been strong. Normally when we get the strong, has there anything been on here? We've had the odd strong at one point. Again, going to wait around about 1 o'clock before I see what the pushes are. And then, like I say, I'm going to take it from there. With regard to the account history, the overall profit loss, it's in credit or in profit by 104.67. we started this demo and test with the currency strength and trading with the exit manager, because we want to set the parameters where we can get in and get out and get profits, but at the same time, not having to look at the chart, not having to watch the movements, because we are setting the parameters that once we go into so much of profit, this trade management system is going to move a trailing stop loss, but at the same time, it's bagging the pips. And as it bags the pips, as it gets higher, the stop loss area is moving as well. So even if you've bagged a momentum of pips, it comes back and it crashes and hits that stop loss. Because it's bagged the pips on its way up, it's got a safety net right underneath it. And so far, we're just fine tuning it. We're tweaking it. We're having a bit play around with it. And like I say, I'll put myself out there to do this. So again, even if it feels, I don't mind. Even if it feels, I do it on camera and I can explain why it's failed. So if you're testing this yourself, you can get an understanding why it's failed, and then we move forward. You can't learn and you can't progress unless you hit the roadblocks along your journey of trading. I've got to get that point across. I had a great chat with one of the guys in the group the other day where he was struggling. He's been trading for so many years, just like me, but he's hit a momentum roadblock. And again, you've just got to understand when you hit these roadblocks, it's a learning curve where you've got to understand what's went wrong, why it's went wrong. There's a lot of factors in the markets on why things are why prices moving the way they are at the moment, which I don't need to obviously speak about at the moment. Everybody knows what's going on. From there, you can see from the trade that I took just there, the GBP odd, now it's getting its movement on this ADR. You see it's heading towards that block that I was expecting. Yes, with regards to what I set and the levels I set, maybe they are a little bit refined, a little bit too much, and I'm not allowing the market to breathe properly to attain the big profits that it could go to, okay? But at the same time, guys, at least I know the safety net level that I've got is working, the safety net. Otherwise, I wouldn't have the profit at £104, okay? And again, we do this to test. We do this if it works on a day-to-day basis. We widen the exposure of the take profit. We lessen the safety net a bit to allow the breathing of what we're doing. And then when we are starting to get where these things are losing, we know to bring the parameters back into what we're doing. Now, when I'm looking at this is fantastic because it's heading towards the area that I was anticipating. Yes, I was expecting that. But at the same time, I had that trade manager, which was just sleeping in the background, which was just looking at the trade and it was thinking, yes, yeah, you bag your profits. We've got the trailing stop and it's come back down. It's hit that safety net and we take that profit out. A good 50 quid of profit today. This, I have no doubt, is going to go on to hit this white block of area of interest, what I was seeing, which, again, there's no doubt it's going to do that, to be fair. But, again, I'm going to wait until around about 1 o'clock. I'm going to keep my eye on what's being posted in here, and then I'm going to keep my eye on what's on here. Yes, this is all bunched about, but I can understand what it is. But I normally refer to what Andy's putting in here as well, also, to be fair. Again, Euro has now got into the extreme for a possible buy. We need to watch that for every 15 minutes. To take a look, you can see the Euro there, so the Euro is strengthening. I might take another trade in the next minute or two. I'll get back on if I do. I'm going to pause the video. We'll be back in a second. All right, so here we are, guys. I've gone for the Euro JPY. We're going to go for a buy. I've got the stop loss at around about 30 to 40 pips. We're going to start getting the green, which will be the Euro start to come through, kiss through that, and it's going to move through the ADX. At the moment, let's take a look. Haven't put the ADR on it, to be fair, but we don't always have to do that. It's heading towards the ADR high, to be fair. Right. Get that. If I move the trade manager on it, go to common, put the DLL imports, go to load. using the challenge set that I've been doing. I'm not going to change the parameters on this because it's what we've been using all morning. All I did was from yesterday, I've swapped it from a 15 pips to break even. I've moved it to a 20 pips to break even, keeping the trailing stop loss at 15 pips. But however, I want to take a partial at 10 pips. That's been working really well. So it's a double safety net. Pips to break even is 3 pips as well. Click on OK. And if we just maximize our screen there, we can see we are now 1 pip, 2 pip. We went 1 pip, 2 pip in profit. And what I'm doing here, guys, I'm not getting involved with a New York session just yet. I'm just seeing if there's anything that's showing its hand where I can grab the odd pip here and there. And at the moment, we can see the euro is pretty strong. However, like I say, the euro, which is this one here, it's coming up to the ADR high at the moment. So let's have a look. It's coming up to the ADR high at the moment. I just wanted to push that a little bit more. Pip wise, the ADR high down to here. That's a good 30 to 40 pips, to be fair. So we might, or we should at least anticipate the 10 pip move to then be able to grab, knock this from a 0.25 and knock it down to a 0.15, and it's going to bag that first safety net cutoff point. We're on 6 pips. Let's just see if it's going to push for us. Come on, 6 pips. Push, 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 push. And we'll show everybody what it does. And it'll bag so much of the profits once it does that. Again, if this reverses and takes us out, it can take at least half of the profits that we've taken today. But again, we're allowing the market to breathe. Okay, we can see we're starting to get that touch where it's kissing. There's going to be an interchange of price movement where the euro is getting stronger. Again, just remember, guys, on here, we're on a 0.25, okay? 0.25. I'll come back in a second. Let's just see if that swaps over to a 0.15 and bags a little bit of profit. At the moment, we are on the balance of £104 from £50 this morning. The floating equity at the moment, it is a negative, not negative, it's a minus 5 pips. So it's coming below the bank's profits at the moment. It's on £93. This is starting to reverse on itself a little bit, but we're allowing the markets to breathe. We'll be back in a short while. Hopefully this will hold its parameters and what I've got set. So I'll be back in a moment. Yeah, so there we go. So it looks like we could be heading towards a loss on the breathable. We're going to be bringing the account back down to 50 where we started if it doesn't hold. In the group, we've got euro on the rocket. I don't know whether I got in late on that or not, but Andy's certainly going to break 1,000 today. I think I've gotten in late on it again. I've got to let you know that I do not profess to be an expert on this at the moment. I am learning. I'm documenting my learning, and it's the best way that I can show this. I do have a trade management on it at the moment. Again, if the market holds its structure from what I have and it comes back into play, then all's good and well. Again, at the moment, if it holds out, it's going to take out the profit that we've made today. But I'm not worried. This is about learning from mistakes and things like that. If this goes to, I do believe 30 or 40 pips, or 35 to 40 pips, it's going to close us out. But I like to say, I'm going to keep this on the camera. I'm going to keep it live because I've got nothing to hide. I don't hide behind any sort of numbers or bullshit. If it's going to lose, I'm going to show you it losing. And that's the aim on this. We'll be a little bit gutted that we've lost all the hard work from today. But again, the lesson from this, I was not going to get in until the start of the New York session. I got into 2 more trades, one being the Euro USD, the other one was a GBP odd, which that one helped us. It banked us some more profits. This one, however, I think the greed factor has getting a little bit too much. Thing that could get into chase up to this upper level on the ADR. However, if market structure does hold on this, and it does turn. It might help us a little bit. But the GBP, what was it? The GPY is starting to, it's come up, excuse me, it's come up a little bit on the strength, but we're just going to see this holds. Hopefully it's just tinkering around and it's going to mess with us. And it looks as if it's just it's starting to reverse a bit on itself now. This is why we allow the breathable gap. Again, the risk I put on this was a risk that if it came back, it was going to take a nominal amount of the profit that I'd already taken today. So it wasn't going to go into the yesterday's profit. It was just going to eat into today's profit, if that makes sense. And sometimes those are the risks that you need to take when you're looking at your equity to your trading each day, okay? Whatever you bank throughout the day and whatever you have sort of profited and built as a foundation, whenever you're going into another trade, try and use that as your pot other than the overall balance that you've got, if that makes sense. And it helps you fight another trade, if that makes sense. Again, it's starting to come down. We'll see if it's going to knock us out. If it does, it's what it is. It's what it is. We just then move on and we wait for the New York session to come into play. But again, this is about moving and feeling forward and getting better at what we do and what we set. Okay, so I'll pause the video, I'll be back in a moment, and I'll let you know either way if this loses or if it wins. Right, guys, so we still holding structure, thankfully. It was eaten into where our profit was, and it still is in essence, in a way. Okay, we went as low as around about 30 pip drawdown. The euro is now starting to gain its strength back. So I'm in two minds whether to close this trade out or let it go to see if it actually does want to do that push or not. You just bear with me while I'm looking at this. I might let it keep going, to be fair. But again, this is all part and parcel. This great book, okay? I don't know whether I've mentioned on here. I know I've been documenting what I do on a day-to-day basis on my phone and put that in another video. But guys, you really need to get this book. It's called The Mental Game of Trading, and it's by Jarrett Tendler, okay? It'll talk, I mean, I'll read this out to you because I don't think I had this, I don't think I've spoke to many people about this. So it's a step-by-step system for mastering your trading psychology, okay? Think about your most costly and recurrent trading mistakes. Everybody has these. Chances are that they're related to common errors, such as chasing the price, cutting your winners short. Do you force mediocre trades? And are you over trading? Everybody experiences this, okay? So you're likely to try to fix these errors by trying to improve your technical skills, yet you still find that these sort of emotions and things still persist. That's because the real source of the mistake is not a technical venture. So it's not your technical side. It's the mindset side of things. They actually stem from greed, from fear, anger, or problems with confidence and discipline in itself, you know? So if you're like most traders, you probably overlook or misunderstand the mental and emotional obstacles, or worse still, you might think you know how to manage them, but you don't, and you end up losing control of your trading at the worst possible time, leaving too much money left on the table, which you then later find could have went in your favor, which will either prevent you from being profitable or even realizing your true potential in trading. While many psychology books offer sound advice, they don't show you how to do the necessary work. That's where this comes in, okay? It gives you work phases to go through. It helps you identify what's happening structurally inside of here when you're trading. It gives you a workbook inside where it gets you to work through the process and understand the fundamentals of your mindset on why it's causing you to do these things, okay? So it goes on to say, they don't show you how to do the necessary work. That's why you haven't solved the problems hurting your performance at this stage. With a straight talk and practical solutions, Jared Tendler brings a new voice to the trading psychology in this book, in the mental game of trading. He busts a myth and emotions about emotions, greed, and discipline. Okay, so he goes very in depth with this sort of stuff and shows you how to look past the obvious and to identify the real reason you're struggling. The book is different from anything else on the market. It will give you an in-depth, step-by-step system for discovering the cause of your problems, rooting them out, and eliminating them once and for all. And through real stories of traders from around the world who have had successfully used Tendler's system to help identify this sort of stuff, okay? You'll learn how to tackle your problems, improve your day-to-day performance, and increase your performances, okay? So again, this here, I was going to look to be closing this out when it was going to sort of break even. I've took my mind away from that and trusted the system. I've trusted the way it's trading, okay? I now know when this goes to plus 10 pips, this will go from a 0.25. It'll bank so much of that profit. It'll take 0.10. Again, I could take the profit here, but I'm going to risk it because we're near them 10 pips. There we are. It's banked it. That's went from a 0.25 to a 0.15. So it's banked a 0.10. That's fantastic for me. And I just took my mind away from what was happening on the screen because I know the trade management will look after itself. I set my risk of what I was willing to risk, if that makes sense. And so I'm happy days with that. So whether you're an independent or institutional trader, and regardless of whether you trade equities, Forex, or cryptocurrency, you can use this system to improve your decision-making and execution. Finally, you have a way to reach your true potential as a trader. So now it's time to make it happen. Now, this book, I've got to admit, was just over 20-odd pound. But I tell you what, it's the best 20-odd pound of English money I've ever spent. So much information in this. There's so much to go through, you know. It's a great book to work through, and it really does get inside of your mind when you're trading. It's fantastic stuff. Now, based upon what I've got at the moment, okay, going back on this trade here, the account history, we have banked on that Euro JPY, we've banked just over £6.51. Now, if I go on to here, it's going to take £4.44 as a loss if it goes back to this, if it goes back on itself. So yes, it might go to £4.40 odd as a loss, but I've took £6 odd in profit banked. So as it's expanded, it's took a certain amount of the risk away. So now, in essence, it's really a risk-free trade, but it's a risk-free trade on the parameter that, yes, it hasn't gone to 20 pips and it hasn't moved to break even, but I've been able to mathematically work out where the safety net and the leverage is to be able to push for that a bit more. So as it goes to these areas, it's going to do a trail and stop at 15 pips. If this comes back and stops me out, I don't care. It just means that I've bagged an extra couple of quid on top of what we've already bagged today. And it's an all-round a good session, you know. It just means it gives me the confidence going into another day of trading and understanding that we are there or thereabouts, certainly with the method of what we're using mechanical wise with the trade management. And there we have it. It's closed us out now, you know. So again, look at this. We started the day on £50 of profit. We are now at £105 of profit. And I haven't even started looking at this stuff yet for the New York session. If we go into our currency strength chat, we can see Andy's kindly put on a chart on here for us to have a look at. He's looking at the USD JPY to come up to mitigate into the ADR range and then sort of come back down. It's flagging beautifully, but it's mitigated into the imbalance area as well. And again, he's having loads of fantastic success with this. I have no doubt he's going to hit the 1,000 pips later on. But again, he's been doing this for well over a year and even more, because he was doing this before we did the group. He just brought it into the group and he's took charge of doing the currency strength. I've just started getting into it and I'm trying to factor in a way to be able to get in and get out. Okay. And I've said all along that this white area was the area I was expecting price to go to on the euro. It may still get to there. And it's all based upon the ADR range, where it's the average daily range of price movement. Okay. So the average daily range is you'll have candle from wick to wick on the previous day on the daily. That's the range going into the next day. So if that's the best way to explain it. But from there, to be honest, I think what I might do from there, because it's now 1:45, I'm not going to set any trades on the New York session. I'm happy with what we've banked here. We've doubled our profit from yesterday. It's been a fantastic session. I've enjoyed putting this video together, and obviously putting a bit more of a spin on it with regards to the ADX and having this in conjunction with what we're trading. Okay. So again, guys, let's just maximize this. Have a end of day conclusion. So this morning, I had to go to the hospital to do my bi-weekly bloods. In that time, I was able to wake up, have a look at the charts, have a look at the currency strength, predetermine what I thought was going to move. When I did that, I set my parameters using our trade manager, which is a free tool inside of the group, on the understanding that we have what I call a double safety net. Okay. It's just something within the experience that I've had within trading. Yes, you've got a stop loss, okay, and a trailing stop loss, but I've got it as a double safety net. So when it gets to a certain amount of pips, there's a trailing stop loss comes up, okay, as it's moving with that, and it'll bag a certain amount of pips on that level, okay. So even if the stop loss is below your entry point, okay, when it's moved to that sort of take partial level, the stop losses also came with it. So even at the TP1, if it reverses on itself and it hits the stop loss below your entry area, what's happened is you've bagged an amount of pips of movement and it's given you profit, even though it's stopped out below the entry area. If it continues to push above there and it goes above the 20 pip area, you know you're going to get even more profit. And the more that TP area is exceeded with regards to the 20 pips and move above break even, the longer that goes, the more the safety net comes up. You've got your first safety net, it's been bagged and tagged, it's took that off, and then it's gone further. And when it comes back and it then hits the stop loss, you've then went and double bagged some profits, okay, if that makes sense. So again, another fantastic day. Just to close it off and look at the screen, we can see Andy's on 602 pips now. He does it. He's amazing at this, like. And then from there, we're happy with what we got here. We started at 50K of a demo account. Within 2 days, we've grafted and took 4 or 5 trades, and we went and grew that account up to £105 of profit. Okay. So again, guys, if you're watching this on YouTube and you're not inside of this area, why aren't you? Because we all learn together, we trade together, we win together. Okay. We offer a free area. Okay. Because I do know there's a lot of people that watch us outside the group. And also there's people watch us inside the group because they're learning from the stuff that I'm putting out there each day. And I love making this content. So again, if you want to get involved and you're not inside, give us a shout. If someone shared this, give them a shout. We'll get you an invite code, because we keep everything strictly private and sort of inside and contained. It stops all the spamming and things like that, to be fair, because there's too many groups out there that will show you screenshots to the pip, and it went to here. Fuck that. All that bollocks. It's a load of shite. Okay. You just need to stay focused, put them blinkers on, come and take a look what we have in the group, and then as a team and a proper trading community that is not going to push you to something else. You're just going to be on the right track to learn. And the beauty of being involved with this is the fact that it's a lifetime membership for free. Okay. Not going to go anywhere. We're not a here today, gone tomorrow, or here today, then we're bumping the price up to go on to a massive 5 or 6K high ticket entity like what most of these other groups do or have done. I'm here to create the content to help you guys. Okay, so thank you very much. I've gone on enough at the end of this video. I hope you're enjoying the content. Please hit the subscribe on YouTube, hit the notification bell, and if you're inside of the Discord channel, please give it an emoji on the link that I put in there, just so I know you guys are watching it. Okay, guys, thank you very much. We'll see you tomorrow.